Hey guys, welcome back to Caden's Corner. The Bengals last season, after losing the Super Bowl in a heartbreaking fashion, have disappointed this season, starting 0-2. This surprises most across the league because the teams they have lost to are the Mitchell Trubisky-led Steelers and the Cooper Rush-led Cowboys. After the rough start to the year, are the Bengals having a Super Bowl hangover? The Super Bowl hangover is a common theme among teams that have played in the Super Bowl the year before. Some recent examples are the 2019 Rams. After they lost to the Patriots in the Super Bowl, the next year proceeded to go 9-7, missing the playoffs. The 2016 Panthers, after being defeated by the Broncos and going 15-1, followed with a 6-10 season. But things simply aren't adding up for the Bengals' miscues. Last season, the biggest flaw that prevented them from winning the Super Bowl was the offensive line. This unit ranked 30th in pass blocking and allowed their franchise quarterback Joe Burrow to be sacked 70 times in the 20 games they played, including the postseason. In response, the Bengals bolstered their offensive line, adding Alex Kappa, Ted Karras, and La'el Collins. Kappa was signed for $40 million over 4 years, as he was a top 10 guard in football last season, only allowing 5 sacks. Veteran Ted Karras was signed to a 3-year, $18 million deal. And the man who said he was going to be Joe Burrow's bodyguard, La'el Collins, was signed for a 3-year, $21 million contract. With the additions up front, this unit was a projected top 10 offensive line in football, but so far have been the biggest reason for this 0-2 start. Burrow has been sacked 13 times in 2 games, and at this rate will be sacked 110 times by the end of the season. The most sacked QB in NFL history in a singular season was David Carr, 76 times. I also noticed an increase of rushing attempts from the Bengals this season. So far, the Bengals have ran the ball 59 times through 2 games. They are also projected to run the ball 502 times this season, 66 more attempts than last. This would put them top 5 in rushing attempts last season when they actually ranked 19th. Is this to slow down the defense from teeing off on Burrow, who also hasn't had a stellar start, throwing 4 interceptions and fumbling once? Some of these miscues can be blamed on trying to force plays before he gets destroyed. And also, Jamar Chase is second for most passes dropped this season. But let's hop on the film and see how bad this offensive line is really doing. We'll start with week 1 against the Steelers and then to week 2 against the Cowboys. The Bengals offensive line this game was getting destroyed by TJ Watt, Cam Hayward, and Alex Highsmith. Pre-snap, the Steelers linebackers creep up showing blitz. Everyone is going to be one-on-one with their man. The tight end 89 on the left side of the screen does a great job of blocking TJ Watt. Highsmith uses a speed rush on the right side of the screen and destroys Burrow. A few plays later, the Steelers are only going to rush 4. Highsmith hits Jonah Williams with a spin move and immediately pressures Burrow. Burrow avoids the sack but has Cam Hayward ready to clean him up. Every play it seems to be a different offensive lineman who decides they want to take the play off. The Bengals are going to be running a stretch right. Watch 71 La'el Collins. He lets TJ Watt right past him, blowing up Mixon in the backfield for a loss of 5. The Bengals are going to run an inside zone here. Watch 71 again. Ball is snapped and he's late getting out of his stance. He unnecessarily chops his feet before comboing on TJ Watt down to the linebacker. This delay causes the gap to fill, resulting in a minimal gain for the Bengals. This is either a bad play call from the offensive coordinator or Burrow needing to call an audible. The Steelers are going to have 7 guys in the box to the Bengals' 6 offensive linemen. 51 is able to run through unblocked and make this play on Mixon. On this play, the center and the guard are going to combo number 95 to the Steelers. 95 isn't moved and plugs the gap for the Mixon run. You can also see that because they weren't able to move him, the combo was late, resulting in 51 being in the backfield. This is one of the weirdest plays that I saw when I watched this film. The Bengals seem to pull their left guard to block TJ Watt on this quick play action. This allows TJ Watt to get a full head of steam while rushing Burrow. The guard misses and it results in an immediate sack. To make matters worse, the Bengals have Chase wide open for a touchdown. The Bengals, no matter how many times they went for no yardage, continue to run their boundary tosses and stretch plays. On this play, number 71, La'el Collins, is going to get away with an immediate chop block. The right guard, number 67, Volson, gets beat to the spot, allowing the Steelers to blow this play up. All game, the offensive line was doing a poor job of giving Burrow any time to throw. The left side gets manhandled, forcing Burrow to throw into 2 of his offensive linemen. On pass protection, offensive tackles do what is called a kick step. This is the proper footwork for tackles, as it allows them to have an equal center of gravity to strike the defensive lineman. A great example of this is the right tackle on this play. But it's rare to see a footwork mistake in a veteran like La'el Collins, but when he did it, it cost the Bengals significantly. Instead of kick stepping backward, he moves his right foot forward. This compromises him, putting him in a terrible position to block the deep boy. He has to backpedal to get even with Watt and ends up getting tossed to the side. This play shows his bad footwork again. He brings that right foot forward and it causes him to backpedal to catch up with Watt. Burrow has to step up and is forced to get rid of it before he gets hit. The pressure from Watt doesn't give Burrow a chance to go through his progressions and it leads to an interception. Cam Hayward was absolutely feasting on the Bengals' interior O-lineman this game. Again, he manhandles the left guard, throwing him into Burrow, causing a sack. He drives Kappa right into Burrow, altering the throw. This was a 4th and goal for the Bengals and a drive that would have given them the lead late. But watch TJ Watt on the right side. He comes through completely unblocked, blowing up the play in the backfield. The Bengals relied on a receiver to block TJ Watt. The Steelers are going to simulate pressure and only send 4 at the quarterback. 50 is going to drop back and they're going to send 4 off the right side. Pre-snap, the 3 Steelers D linemen are manned up with the Bengals left side. Once Jonah Williams sees 56 loop around, he has to get his eyes to the next rusher. Instead, he helps double 95 and the Steelers get a free shot at the QB. Watching the Cowboys game, I had some hope that this offensive line would look a little bit better, but I was wrong. Watch the left guard. He's pulling on DeMarcus Lawrence. He whiffs and Mixon gets hit in the backfield. Jonah Williams, the left tackle on this play, said it's my turn to look like I've never played football before. The ball is snapped and he steps on 67's foot. This causes him to stumble. He's too busy stepping on his teammate's feet that he has to leave the tight end 1v1 with the D end leading to a sack. The Cowboys on this play show 7 guys in the line of scrimmage. The Bengals only have 6 blockers, so who do you leave unblocked if all 7 rush? I would say one of the linebackers because one of them will probably drop into coverage. They do end up dropping all of their linebackers and only rush 4. The guard clearly has him on this play, but Collins helps for the double team. As a result, Micah Parsons gets a free rush at Burrow. Micah Parsons, after 1 season, has already cemented himself as one of the best players in football. He single-handedly changed the outcome of this game. On this play, Parsons hits Collins with a Euro step move and destroys Burrow. Parsons didn't get the sack on the last play, but he came back for it a few plays later. He breezes by Jonah Williams with a speed rush and gets to Burrow. Let's go back to the interior alignment. I've been picking on these tackles too much. The Bengals are going to go back to the stretch play, but it actually gets yards this time. 67 completely whiffs on blocking 99 on this play. He is fortunate that Mixon has wheels and was able to outrun him, because if he wasn't, 99 blows this play up in the backfield. This is the last Micah Parsons highlight, I promise. Jonah Williams has the honor of blocking him this play. Parsons bull rushes him, throwing him backward and getting a hit on Burrow. This is the funniest play I watched while going through the film. First of all, watch Lael Collins fall to the ground. Then 64 and 65 are going to keep blocking their guys, and they both fall over Collins. Meanwhile, 67 gets thrown to the ground by a linebacker. 4 Bengals O-linemen on the turf, but not because of pancakes. Not to sugarcoat these losses, but the Bengals turned the ball over 5 times against the Steelers and found themselves kicking an extra point for the win. And against the Cowboys, we're tied with less than 2 minutes to go. But either way, the Bengals find themselves 0-2 and at the bottom of the AFC. But there are still 15 weeks of football left to be played. It's not like we haven't seen Joe Burrow take a team to the Super Bowl with a bad offensive line. Brian Callahan, the Bengals offensive coordinator, will need to rely heavily on getting the ball out of Burrow's hand as quick as possible. The Bengals need to rebound this week against the Jets before they battle the loaded AFC, but it's only been 2 weeks and nobody should overreact. If this offensive line can become more cohesive as the season progresses, this team is back in Super Bowl contention. Not to mention, this offensive line has faced 2 of the best edge rushers in football in TJ Watt and Micah Parsons. I think the Bengals will heat up going on a winning streak in the middle of their schedule. I have them finishing the season 11-6 and winning the AFC North. I'm Caden Kubler, and that's my take.